The melt up continues here as buyers eyeing 6,800 on SPX here. And we have no jobs data tomorrow as the government is shut down, but markets are open nonetheless. It is Thursday, October 2nd, 2025. If you guys like the video, maybe give it a like. You can also come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Again, sale is active for another 2 weeks, so take advantage of that while you can. Anyway, let's get into it here today. So markets today with another gap up. We had some, I know AMD had a little bit of news in the overnight, and yeah, up 3.5% here. A lot of chip stocks higher here. MRVL, another one getting a nice bid. I was a little miffed here. I was waiting for this to base a little bit longer, but this one had a nice bid here today. We'll continue to watch that for pattern. But nice move there for AMD. NVIDIA not really doing a ton. It kind of gapped up and just sat there. TSM, maybe a little bit of profit taking. So green to red day actually came in pretty substantially there. And you got, everybody's favorite Intel up 4%. So that continues to move higher. And, it's really just the chip story here. Free money for chips pretty much every day at this point here. 2% gap there on the stocks. And yeah, market's holding up well. We're already seeing a little bit of, and in the overnight too, before I want to touch on this. So tomorrow we won't have a jobs number because of the shutdown. I think a lot of, obviously some of the AMD stuff and the chip news and the overnight help, but I think a lot of this overnight action here is, was closing out of some of these hedges here that were potentially there for tomorrow's number. So they got closed out kind of early. We talked about maybe seeing a little bit of mean reversion into the lunch hour, into the middle of the day, and that's what we got. You can see here. So as soon as that kind of like unwound itself, we got a gentle little pullback into the 6,700 handle. We actually, I think, passed the expected move by a little bit, but not too much there. And 6,700 held, and now we're just floating back up as we speak. And we're seeing some, option buyers here start to target 6,800 on a few expiries. I think if we look at next Friday, it's definitely for OPEX. It's definitely gaining some interest there. But for next Friday, you can see it's gaining some too. Now, just again, keep in mind, this is a week out and OPEX is 2 weeks out. So these can change pretty quickly, but we'll have some supportive flows coming in like Monday. And the market's, looking like it wants to get up there right now. QQQ 610 is another level that's being targeted, and, it's not that far off. So again, market's holding up. They do have a little bit of maybe a hanging man there. Could that invite some consolidation? It's certainly possible. Like I said yesterday and the day before, this kind of move here does feel a little bit like the one we got in August, where we had a dip and then we just went straight up, and we just really didn't do enough backing and filling. And then that led to 3 weeks of consolidation. So it's certainly possible that could be the case here. But again, market is really, it's just as long as the semis are going, the market's going to keep, it's just going to keep pushing like this. And then that's really the bottom line. The only thing that I see that would derail it right now is there is a little bit of rumblings in a repo market with SOFR. But I don't really see any major red flags here with KRE. It's down 3 cents. Yeah, it's lagging, but I'm not seeing anything major here. I'll just put it that way. Yes, JPM was down today. Goldman was down today. We have a lower high and lower low there on Goldman for the first time in a while. Same thing with Morgan Stanley, but these are not, they're fractionally lower, and there's not massive volume. Now, if KRE dumped below 62 tomorrow on massive volume and we saw HYG come down, it wouldn't shock me if there was something that came out over the weekend with what I'm seeing in SOFR right now. But outside of that, and you might say, well, no, Aaron, nothing can take the market down because there's too much liquidity. Well, okay, where do you think the liquidity comes from? Right, it comes from the overnight funding. So that would be the only immediate thing I see right now that could derail any of this. But 6,800 being targeted, 6,750 is coming in for tomorrow. Although again, I still think it's likely we could just pin around 670 here on the spiders, which is where we're sitting. And I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more mean reversion, just to set up a bigger base here. But nonetheless, yeah, I guess it's really easy. Just buy any semiconductor and just buy the close and just let them gap it up. So that's the market right now. Q's up 0.5%. The Russell catching up a little bit here. And again, no follow through to the lower high attempt. So just riding that 20 DMA, and you know that can go higher if it can break through 245. Diamond, same thing. So there's SMH again, little hanging man, but I mean these patterns, you know, they sit there and then they never follow through. So until it follows through, you know, it is what it is. IGV up 0.5%. Again, trend is still nicely up there. Dow Transports got a little bit of a bid here, but again, still in this tight, stupidly this hourly chart here. That's as coiled as you're gonna see anything. A really tight range there. Rate's not doing a ton today. Where's our rate chart here? There we go. So 2-year, yeah, up early, kind of came back in. 5s, 10s, and 30s, flat to lower. So not a lot going on there. We had home builders here, down early, but then came back. That's getting interesting on the weekly. IYR is, again, coiled just like the transports. We talked about fins. XLF down earlier. Hasn't lost the 50 MA yet. KRE, same thing. 62 is a big area. Oil today got rocked. Finally broke this level here. This has been very nice to day trade recently, by the way. Down 2% on the day, and I hope it flushes a little bit more. So these oil shorts, you know, the 4-hour right now, it's buried, and I hope it gets a little bit more buried because that should be ready for a nice rebound, at least for, you know, a day or two. That they're getting a little overzealous, if you ask me. It has not really had a chance to reset on the 4-hour here. $60 right there. I'd like to see that get flushed tomorrow. That would be nice. XLE down 1%, although it was up earlier, even with oil down. So it actually showed some relative strength. XOP down today, but again, holding yesterday's low, and the same thing with OIH. So the energy stocks are doing a lot better than the actual commodity. So interesting to see that. Dollar was up earlier, but it came way off the highs. So still nothing through 98, but if it can get through that now with a higher low, I think it can squeeze up a little bit. And maybe a lot, honestly. I actually kind of like what I'm seeing on the DXY here, to be honest. Gold here came in pretty sharply today, but no follow-through. Buyers showed up, and not enough volume. I will say there's a little bit of interest at 350 GLD for tomorrow, and SLV at 4150. Yeah, sorry, 4150. It's a nice rebound. I don't know. I don't love this, and I say this as somebody who actually bought this early today, and I'm still holding a position that's in the money. By the way, this was an incredibly tumultuous trade. I mean, like this was the reason why I think that it's going to go down there too is this was super fast. It was moving like 25, 30 cents every 10 minutes, and then we rebounded, and then it just did nothing. So I think a lot of people tried buying on the way down, and they got flushed hard because the volatility just died out. So I think this could easily turn into a lower high here, and we might need to go down and test some lower prices. Does that mean it's topped? I didn't say that. I'm just saying in the short term, I could see that being the case. I could also see it just ripping back up too, because it's a commodity, it's a metal, and it, you know, that's what they do. They, especially when you get this overbought and this stretched out, the volatility will increase heavily on both sides. But, you know, again, it came way off the lows. So, yeah, you had volume, but again, it came off the lows. So it's not like it had a big engulfing. Even platinum here, basically finishing flat. Oh, by the way, SIL, again, you know, maybe some distribution going on here. GDX had an engulfing. It was engulfing the last 3 days at one point, but again, came off the lows. So I think they're still alive for now. But yeah, platinum flat here, palladium down a little bit, but you know, it held the 20. We had copper that was up and then it pulled back and then it kind of came back by the end of the day. Yeah, back above the 100 MA. So next real psychological level is $5. Bitcoin, I guess it's Bittober or whatever they call it. Yeah, the strongest month for it, I guess. But remember, seasonality doesn't matter unless it's for bulls. But yeah, in any case, 108, 109 to 120. Beautiful move. And yeah, it's gamma squeezing a little bit here. They might yank it a little bit into tomorrow. Let me just see. I haven't even looked at it because I haven't really cared. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it might. Yeah, that might get pulled back tomorrow. We'll see. I don't think there's not really anything that looks like it's going to convert to OI. So, but yeah, either way, really impressive move, one way or the other. ETH again, we got about 4207. That was a key level. Weekly, and this 20 MA is basically caught up to price now. So it looks a lot better here. And I mean, Bitcoin right now, it's almost at all-time highs here. So crypto is still acting very well. Nice digestion there on the charts. Spiders, yeah, you know, we'll see. I mean, I don't really have a preference or bias towards tomorrow, other than maybe we could stall out still. Pinned to, you know, 6,700. But bottom line is that, like, this is not going to go down until some air comes out of the semis. That's really that simple. Or you get some sort of repo problem, which there's been definitely a uptick in SOFR versus EFFR. It's nothing yet. And I have noticed bank weakness relative to everything else a lot. But again, nothing that I would call a red flag just yet. So that's really it. Well, anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here. Again, you guys take care. Have a great evening. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We'll see you guys all tomorrow.